Hi everyone and welcome back to my kitchen. Today we are making one of my favorite easy breads, soft and airy baguette-style loaves that you can bake the same day with zero kneading. It's simple, it's comforting and it's perfect when you want fresh bread without the weight. And before we begin, a quick thank you to my sponsors for supporting the channel and motivating me to create more recipes for you. Okay, let's get started. In a large bowl, I'm adding 550 grams of flour. I use all-purpose flour with about 11% protein. Next, I sprinkle in 5 grams of instant dry yeast and give everything a quick mix. Now, I make a small well in the center and add 12 grams of salt. Then I pour in 370 milliliters of warm water, about 81 degrees Fahrenheit. I like to add the water in two portions. I start mixing with a spoon, and at this stage the dough will feel very dry. That's completely normal. Once it starts to come together, I switch to a spatula. I use it to cut a small pieces of dough from the edges and fold them over the top, repeating this motion until all the dry flour is incorporated and the dough becomes a little sticky and shaggy. That's exactly what we are looking for in this recipe. When the dough is fully combined, I drizzle just a little bit of vegetable oil around the bowl. Place the dough back inside and lightly coat the surface so it doesn't dry out. Then I cover the bowl with plastic wrap and a towel to keep it warm and let it rest for about 30 to 45 minutes. I usually put it in my oven with just a light on. It creates the perfect warm environment for the dough to relax. After about 30-45 minutes, the dough has relaxed and fully started to hydrate. Now it's time for the first stretch and fold. I wet my hand so the dough doesn't stick. Then reach under one side, lift it up gently, stretch it, and fold it right over the top. I rotate the bowl a quarter turn and repeat the same motion. I do this all the way around the dough, usually about 4 to 6 folds, and then I flip the dough over so the smooth side is on top. This technique replaces kneading and helps the dough develop strength and structure without much effort. Once I finish the folds, I cover the bowl again and let the dough rest for another 30 minutes in the same warm place. During the rest, the dough becomes smoother, more elastic, and easier to work with. After those 30 minutes, I repeat the stretch and fold process one more time. The same gentle lifting and folding all the way around. When the second round of folds is done, I cover the bowl again and let it rise for about 15 minutes. By the end of the rise, the dough should look puffier, softer, and full of little air bubbles. That's how I know it's ready for shaping. Now that the dough has puffed up and looks nice and airy, it's time to shape it. I lightly flour my work surface and gently turn the dough out of the bowl. Then I divide it into two equal pieces. They don't have to be perfectly identical, just close enough. For each piece, I gently flatten it into a loose rectangle, fold it in half from each side, and then flip it over so the smooth side is on top. I repeat the same process with the second piece. This isn't the final shaping. This is just the pre-shape to organize the dough and build a bit of structure. Once both pieces are pre-shaped, I cover them and let it rest for about 10 minutes. This short rest gives the gluten time to relax, which makes final shaping much easier and helps the dough stretch without tearing. After the dough has rested, we can move on to the final shaping. I take the first piece, flip it over, and gently flatten it into a loose rectangle. Then I start rolling the dough downward and sealing it with my fingers as I go. I continue rolling it all the way to the bottom and make sure that seam is sealed well. This step helps create surface tension, which is what gives the baguette its structure and shape. Now I flip the dough so the seam is on the bottom, and with both hands I begin rolling it gently from the center outward, extending it into a long baguette shape. I keep the pressure light and even so the dough doesn't tear. I roll until I reach the length I want, usually around 16 to 18 inches. Once both baguettes are shaped, I place them onto a sheet of parchment paper. Since I don't have a baguette pan, I use the parchment to support the shape. I lift the paper up between the two loaves to create a little wall, and then fold the sides up as well. To help everything stay in place, I set a roll towel along the outside edges. This keeps the baguettes separated and helps them hold their shape while they rise. Now that the baguettes are shaped and supported, I cover them with a clean kitchen towel and lightly spray the towel with water. This keeps the dough from drying out without wetting the surface of the baguettes themselves. I let the baguettes rest like this for about 40 minutes. During this time, they will get softer, lighter, and noticeably puffier. While they're resting, I prepare the oven. I take a baking tray, pour in some hot water, and place it inside the oven. Then I preheat the oven to 475 degrees Fahrenheit, so everything heats up together. After about 40 minutes, the baguettes are ready for the oven. I uncover them carefully and using a sharp razor or a scoring blade, I make a few diagonal cuts across the top of each loaf. The cuts don't need to be perfect, they simply help the bread open up nicely in the oven. Next, I remove the tray of hot water from the oven. Now it's time to place the baguettes inside. The best method is to slide the parchment with the baguettes directly onto the hot baking stone, but I usually do it the simple way and just place the baking sheet straight into the oven. To add steam, I quickly spray a bit of water inside the oven right before closing the door. I bake the baguettes for about 20 to 25 minutes or until they turn a deep golden brown. Once the baguettes are done, I take them out of the oven and place them on a cooling rack. Try to give them at least 20 minutes to cool before slicing. I know it's tempting, but the inside is still finishing its structure, and waiting will give you a much better crumb. And that's it, our easy same-day baguette-style loaves are ready. If you enjoyed this recipe, don't forget to like the video, subscribe and leave a comment. Thank you, and I will see you in the next one.